Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Zoetic, and you tuned into episode 3 of my collection.
Chilling in the cut like C-sections. Breaking records, I ain't talking about my collection.
Alright, so let's jump into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is I got a CD over here. And this is a compilation of Ralphie Pagan's greatest hits. It's called The Legend. I've had this CD for like, I don't know, maybe 15 plus years. It's just got some of his best joints on here. No Soy de Ti, Ooh Baby Baby, Didn't Want to Have to Do It, Just for a Little While. I mean, so many legendary joints on this. I was just listening to this earlier, doing some picking up, doing some cleaning around the house. You know, that's definitely the type of vibes that this music is. Classic, timeless stuff that never gets old, no matter how many times you listen to it. One of the greatest right here, Ralphie Pagan, man, the legend. Alright, so next up I want to talk about this record that I got over here. This is Action Bronson, Rare Chandeliers. I think they just did this issue last year, if I'm not mistaken, in 2020. Although this project came out in 2012. Really, really legendary project, man. Action Bronson and The Alchemist got together, and they just came with a really, really crazy tape, man. This is back in the mixtape days, the blog era, the Dat Piff era. So a lot of this stuff is not on streaming, services, because it got wild samples. I mean, you guys know how Alchemist does it. I mean, he just puts together some of the most crazy sounds that you ever heard in your life. But now, this is probably my favorite project from Action Bronson here. The packaging is really cool. He threw in these like little poster cards here of like stills from the music videos that he shot during this time, and I just never really seen anything like this. I mean, the packaging, it came with some stickers and some other cool stuff, but obviously the artwork is beautiful and amazing. Looks really great. But when you talk about the music, man, I mean, I think this is definitely Action Bronson's best project. I mean, the dude just comes with the most crazy bars for the crazy beats that Alchemist gives him. Dope features, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Schoolboy Q, Styles P, Sean Price, Rock Marcy, AG the Coroner, the list goes on and on with this one, man. I mean, this is true bona fide classic stuff. I'm really glad that they pressed it on a vinyl. I know that Alchemist does his, you know, very limited runs, so I was glad that I was able to pick up a copy of that, man. And really dope piece for really just any collector who has, you know, some dope vinyl in their collection, and it also just looks cool, you know, to just display it, just like pretty wild illustration, you know, most outlandish stuff, the type of style that Action Bronson brings, man. But I really love this. Alright, so the next thing that I want to talk about to wrap up this episode of my collection is Questlove's new movie here. It's called Summer of Soul. It's really a documentary about a 1969 festival that went down in Harlem. Some really incredible artists on it, and I've seen it twice now. Once right here at home and once in the movie theater. The first time that I've been in a movie theater for, I don't know, like maybe 2 years now at this point. But man, I just really, really enjoyed this movie, or this documentary. It's really incredible footage to see. I mean, just how beautiful everything and everybody looked, and just how amazing the performances were. And man, I can't believe that footage that looks so great like that could have just sat in somebody's basement for 50 years. So I'm really glad that we got to be able to see this kind of footage. And it's funny because I just talked about Woodstock in, I think, the last episode it was, and this festival occurred the same summer as Woodstock. And so it's kind of crazy how something as impactful as this festival is not held to the same regard as Woodstock was. And they kind of touch about it into the movie. They talk about how they tried to sell it as Black Woodstock and nobody wanted to buy it. And I think that's pretty terrible. But I'm really glad that we're able to exist in a time now where something like this can be not just put out, but appreciated, so that everybody can view all of this stuff and really just put it where it belongs, because the footage on this is absolutely amazing. I mean, you have performances from some of the most amazing musicians at the time, And God, I was just in awe watching this, specifically Mavis Staples and Mahalia Jackson singing together. Man, that was probably one of the most moving performances I've ever seen in my life. And Questlove, the dude, anybody who knows me kind of knows that I really look up to this guy, man. I think that he's really opened up this lane for all of the musical knowledge and all of the weird nerdy stuff that I've been talking about on this show and on the podcast specifically. You know, people like me really appreciate things like this because it lets me know what's possible. You know, we can't I think there used to be just a certain way that artists had to express themselves and present themselves, and I think now we're moving into a new time where being a fan is okay, you know, and I think that there's a whole demographic of people who just want to hear stuff from a fan perspective, and it's really cool to see Questlove do something like this because he shows us just how far we can take it. You know, we don't have to just market ourselves as a ordinary artists anymore. You know, we can do things like this that show just how much and how dedicated we are to documenting the history of not just this music but this culture and everything that this impacts everybody all across the land, and everything that's going on now is just byproducts of everything that's happened in the past. So I really enjoyed this movie, this documentary. If you haven't seen it, please, I would definitely recommend you to check it out because it's a very historic journey and it's a really great watch and listen. And it's just beautiful, man. From a cinematography perspective to just a musical perspective, all around beautiful movie. I tip my hat to Questlove and thank him for making it possible for people like me to exist in this space. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this kind of rundown episode of my collection, episode 3. I've really been enjoying getting into all of my different perspectives of fandomship, and I hope you guys are appreciating it too. So thank you. Like, share, subscribe. I'll check y'all next week. Peace.